This is basically the folder that you will see now. Of course, not all the files, only these 3 ones, because these are actually from my recording of this video. So once you have downloaded through the link down in the description, you will get to see this zip file. So you actually need WinRAR or WinZip for this to extract this. It's a free program you can pick up online to extract files, because of course, if it's going to be a lot of files, if you just zip it into one file, that's going to make it a lot easier for you guys to download as well, instead of just, 12 different files. So right here we have number 1. We have all kinds of really nice templates that you guys can open. Now right here we have the folder called Essentials. This is basically that you do not want to touch. These are files that will be loaded into your Vegas project. So if you go back for a second, this is also a folder that we can open if you want to download the fonts that we needed and that we also used in these templates. Because I actually want to give a really big shout out to the channel in the description that I got this pack from, which is of course free to download, that you guys can find in the description down as well. So make sure to subscribe to that channel, because they actually provide a lot of really cool templates and all that. So right here we have the fonts. Just download them, otherwise Vegas Pro is not going to be able to read these fonts once you open up the templates itself. And now right here we have a readme, which is basically just thank you for choosing these templates. So once you close that out, right here we have of course title A. So let's go ahead and open that up and let's see what that one looks like. Alright guys, so right now this is of course template A. So if you play it back, this is what we have so far in the timeline. It's a little bit laggy of course, because I have my screen recording running in 60 FPS, but let me see if I can play it back a little bit more smoothly for you guys. This is what it looks like. We have our animation. When it comes to like our YouTube name, it looks really cool. Let me see if I can finally play this back. A little bit of a less lag, but this is what it looks like. We have youtube.com/username. Now of course you can always just go ahead and expand these tracks. Alright guys, so right here we have this icon that says the generated media, which is going to open up this window so you guys can go and customize the text right here. It looks really cool. So if you play that back, right here we also have our logo option. So let me go and put the quality a little bit more to full. How do you want to replace the logo? Very easily. You're not going to go and delete this file from Vegas Pro and then just insert the logo. We're going to just simply replace it. Go and right click on, and then we're going to click on replace, because then it will actually just replace the logo with the one that we will choose in a second, and then it will be on the same exact position. It will include all the animation. So we're going to click on there and we're going to select our logo. So that looks really cool. So what we can also do is make sure to match the colors. Now of course the red actually looks quite nice with the yellow, but if you want to say that we want to place this one to a little bit more to the blue side of things, you can just go and change up the color. So this looks really nice if we have this nice navy color, and also let's say that we're going to change up this one as well, the red animation background for example, that we can just go and make sure it matches. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to click on here, and then we're going to just use this pencil icon to click right here, so we have the exact same tint, and that looks really cool guys. And of course we can also change up the text color, and that is how to customize the first template. So let's go and close this out. Let's go back to the folder for a second, because right here we have all kinds of one, but this is only folder number 1 guys. So what I also include for you guys is a nice social media template. So if you click on open this, it will actually open up the project and it will be all ready for you guys just to insert your usernames. Really simple. You don't have to go and spend hours animating it yourself. So let's play it back and let's see what that looks like. So right here we have of course Facebook. So how that works is you just click on this icon from the text, and I would actually just like have it a little bit more detailed, and I would just type in for example only/just Alex Halford, so we don't have like the entire link in there. And then we can also change up the Facebook word itself just to make sure that the F is a capital letter. And what you can then do is just completely export this out with the green background, use a green chroma key to remove the background, or what you can also do is just remove the green entirely from your project, that it is black, and then you guys can go and just render it out in a .mov format or just transparent to make sure that it is nice and see-through. So that's it for the social media one. And then in the third and last folder we have also a very nice title. So let me open up the first template. In total I have about 12 templates for you guys to go and customize, no matter if you want to use it for like a name lower third, like I mentioned, your social media. So this is also a really subtle one, looks very nice. So right here we have like your title, and then we have a subtitle, so you can just add in like for example your YouTube name, Below that, you can also just have like the type of content or episode number 1 or episode number 10. Let's move on to the second one. I'm going to go through these real quick, guys, so you guys can go and check it out. So this is really nice when it comes to like this social media lower third as well. This is actually really similar to my name lower third that I used in the intro. Easy to edit. So if I just type in, for example, my name, this is basically what it looks like. Just go and customize the text. You can type in any text that you like. So let's move on to the last template I'm going to show you guys today, which is, of course, let's say I'm going to pick number 4. All right, so let's go and play this back. As you notice, it looks really nice that there is this line making the text appear. Now, of course, right here it says clean lower third, but of course clean is a little bit too big, so I'm going to go and just go to the, so I'm going to go and optimize that a little bit. So let's say I'm going to pick 41. Just a little bit too big. I think 40 is perfect. So now let's say I'm going to type in my name on YouTube, for example, my username. Right now we can even choose to change the background if we want to, but of course it's going to be transparent as well. So I would just remove that one, and then I would just use this line to have a different color. Let's say I want to have it a little bit more to the orange style of things. That would look very tight. Alright guys, that looks really nice. You can even choose to change up the actual, size of that little bar. So you're going to go to the track motion icon of the yellow track of the bar. You can even drag this one all the way up and then just position it on the right position, just like this. Make sure that it is nice and centered. These are basically 12 templates you guys can download. We have 5 ones in this folder. We have 6 templates in the first folder, and we have 1 in the second folder, which is a social media lower third. So guys, if you enjoyed this video, make sure to reward it with a like down below. All the info is in the description down below to download it. What is new in Sapphire 2023.5? If you guys haven't heard the news yet, recently BorisFX reached out to me and said, we want to work together. We've seen your videos, we've seen your channel. There's going to be tons of videos on the Sapphire plugin, because believe it or not, I actually made a lot of videos in the past using the Sapphire plugin and the other ones that are included in the bundles, but we've never really worked together as like a partnership. So right now I actually want to do a deep dive into what is actually new. I think a lot of people are sleeping on this because there's actually a lot more than you would think that is in there. If you want to skip to the actual effects that I'll be showing you in Vegas Pro, I'll just leave a timestamp on the screen where you can skip to, or you can go to the chapter of the video player just to dive straight into it. But let's start off with what is new in 2023.5. So we have a improved effect, which is pretty much a new parameter linking in Sapphire Builder, which allows you to create interactions between values and even different effects. There's improved functionality, new quick access and favorites menus in Builder create faster and more streamlined workflows, improved functionality, customize any parameter in Builder with a unique name, new and improved presets. Builder ships with 25 plus new presets and more than 130 updated and improved presets. And we also got new flares, which is including 12 updated Sapphire and lens flares. Before we proceed, guys, I want to mention a 15% discount code you guys can use on the website, which is obviously Alex15. Check out the link down in the description after this video, because that's a code that you can apply onto your card. The parameter linking in Builder, the new parameter linking feature in us_effects and us_transition allows editors and artists to create dynamic and complex effects by connecting parameters and value across different Sapphire effects. Users can set a driver parameter and then link one parameter to it, including adding offsets and multipliers. Parameter linking gives users control over an entire effects animation with a single slider. This makes it easier to create advanced animations and effects without having to manually adjust multiple parameters. The new quick access feature provides users with a fast option to find and add effects to a Builder. Simply add effects directly onto the node graph with just a few clicks, rather than navigating Sapphire's expansive list of effects. Users can also store frequently used effects and add them to the new favorites category, making them easy accessible. That makes it a lot more efficient and time-saving just to go where your presets are, instead of having to build every single effect from scratch. The 2023.5 update to Sapphire introduces a highly requested feature, the ability to customize effect parameter names in the Builder. Users can now create their own names of any parameter inside any Sapphire effect.
By choosing more intuitive and user-friendly parameter names, builder artists can quickly identify key parameters in an effect and adjust accordingly. So what's also new, guys, is you can tell right here, and which I already have used for the videos that I've added for other channels, we have the Sapphire lens flares. 12 more reasons to love it with the addition of new and improved flares of Sapphire 2023.5. Use the integrated Academy Award-winning Mocha technology to do fast and accurate motion tracking directly in the plugin. Perfect flares wherever you need them. So as you can tell, guys, the list goes on and on. We have the 2023 Sapphire Ultra Grain, which is obviously for the modern VFX artists, the editor and colorists. The S Ultra Gain, which we'll get to in a second, are actually really accurate, and they recreate the qualities and aesthetics of film and camera grain with the needed flexibility of a digital toolset. We have the cameras and film stock presets. We have the Dissolve Ultra Glow. Those are really cool if you want to add in a slow cinematic transition in whatever video, because right here you can tell it works really well with cooking videos, but that's the same for vlogs, for travel videos, you name it. This is something that most of the people that are following the channel don't really know, is it's also available for Photoshop. So if you're editing thumbnails or creating thumbnails, it also has a host support, which is obviously Adobe Photoshop, and it's free to all Sapphire 2022 and 2022.5 users, featuring 270 plus resolution, independent and non-destructive effects built into a one-of-a-kind nodal-based effect compositor. So you can even use this beside using Vegas Pro or Premiere Pro or DaVinci or whatever software you guys are using. You can also use this in Photoshop. All right, guys, so now that we've read through what is new and the biggest features, let's go into Vegas Pro 20 and let's see what we actually have. All right, so now that we are in Vegas Pro 20, as you can see right here, I have two clips. This is from an office, and this is just a picture that I took, I think about a year and a half ago. So to actually showcase what is new in the Sapphire plugin, I'm just going to show you a couple of those transitions and effects that you guys can use. So once you have picked up Sapphire plugin and you have installed it, right here on the very left-hand side, you will pretty much see all the effects that we have actually to our reach. Obviously on the website, they showcase like the Dissolve Glow and the Ultra Grain. All right, so I'm going to place those two on the same track, and then I'm going to go to the Transitions tab right here in Vegas Pro, and then I'm going to click on the Film Glow Dissolve. I'm going to just simply drag it onto the crossfade right here. That's how simple you actually do it. And then if I play this back, as you can tell, this is pretty much how the Dissolve Glow works. It is really cool that you can obviously customize so much. So if I'm going to pause somewhere in the middle where the effect is happening, as you can tell that there is actually a glow intensity slider that you can bring up and down. If that's too much or too less, you can bring up that fader. I like it actually nice and bright. We have the glow radius, so you can pretty much tell where it's actually glowing from. So right here we have the glow radius, and that's pretty much the strength, going to make it a lot more blurry. We have the radius right here, so we can pretty much choose how we have it in the frame, just like that. You can completely customize it vertically, horizontally. This almost looks like the camera is a little bit greasy or something like that, but you guys get the point. It's really cool that you can just go and tweak it like that to make it absolutely your own. Very smooth, very flawless, and this is one of the transitions that you have seen on the website. But obviously I'm pretty sure that for the people that have been following this channel for, let's say, 7, 8, 9+ years, they possibly got their hands on the Sapphire plugin already, so it would be obvious that they all know how that plugin works. So what I use a lot is the lens flare. Right here on the very left side, you can see the lens flare dissolve. So if you hover over it, you can tell the little preview what it will look like. Now I don't really like this one too much, but if I go one down, as you can tell right here, that looks really cool. And we also have the kind of thundery lens flare. So let's go ahead and drag on this one. This is actually the one that I used most of the time. So this is the lens flare, the kind of the flash. So this is kind of like an effect that you would see in like more like sunny videos when it comes to like traveling. Because the thing is that obviously when you drag on this clip, we have all kind of parameters that we can adjust to make it completely your own. Like I've mentioned, you can have it from different directions. So if I play this back, you can tell it comes from the other direction. And it's really cool that you can also take stills. So if you just move your cursor up like that, you can actually tell it actually looks really realistic if there is like a real lens flare shining into the screen, which allows you to take a snapshot and then you can take it from there. So a lot of different really cool presets are in there. Obviously guys, if I'm going to cover everything from 2023.5, this video is going to be way too long. So that's what I mentioned always when it comes to like different software, different plugins. There's just so much stuff that I just cannot do in just one single video. And that's why I said at the beginning of this video, there's going to be a lot more videos coming about transitions. transitions, the effects, how to use this in Photoshop. So those are pretty much really cool transitions you can use in a nutshell. And there are just a lot of transitions that you don't have to do. And there are just a lot of transitions that you don't have to make all from scratch. As you can tell, this blur is, if I'm going to pause it right here, it's going to look a little bit trippy, but you can even choose like the amount of the blur. You can easily choose the blur Y. So you want to have it vertically, horizontally. It's pretty much really up to you. It's pretty much up to you how you actually change and optimize those presets. And once you're happy with it, you can just call this, for example, right here, transition 1, and then you just click on this diskette icon, which is obviously going to save our preset. So anytime we refresh this library right here, you can see transition 1, you just drag that on there and you're good to go. And like we saw at the beginning of this video, guys, we also have the ultra grain. So let's drag that onto the photo and let's see what it does. So we don't have any presets because right here we can pretty much choose like the grain itself, and then we can have the grain size. So as you can tell, if you pay attention to the background, that's pretty much how it is affecting the footage. And this looks really cool because this is something that I would use if I have a Panasonic GH5 camera that I bought 2 years ago, but I want to make footage look like it's shot in 1998. So this is kind of the thing where I would just use a lot of those plugins and those presets just to make it a little bit more old, get some of that grain back from way back in the 90s. And that's just something really cool. There is so much more for you guys to explore, and we'll showcase that in all the upcoming videos about Sapphire plugin. Make sure to check out the Sapphire plugin playlist, because if you're watching this video in the future, there are a lot of videos added. This is just the first video, but this is just to get a glimpse of what is new. So this is part 1. Make sure to stay tuned, guys. That's it for this video. And once again, make sure to use code Alex15 to save on the bundles on the website. The link is down in the description.
We all have this struggle, this frustration of our preview lagging, especially when you're using transitions, and even if they're transitions from certain plugins, that makes it really heavy. So of course, over the years, I've gathered a few tricks and a few like backdoors almost to bypass the lagging without like expanding something physical on your computer, like by popping in an extra RAM stick or something like this to improve your your preview. So how this essentially works is we're going to tweak around with just a few couple settings just to make sure that we will have everything playing as smooth as possible, because of course we cannot get it completely flattened out and smooth unless we have like a really high setup when it comes to like having the most amount of gigabytes of RAM and having the most recent graphics card and all that. This video that I'm editing right now in my timeline is shot on a Lumix GH5 with a 12 by 16 millimeter lens, and it is shot in 50 frames per second, so it shouldn't be too bad for my graphics card. My graphics card is an RDX 2070. I think it's pretty easy for the card to handle this footage. So as you can see right now, it plays back quite smoothly. It could be a little bit smoother, but right here, as you can see, it starts to lag a little bit, and that's because I also have a lot of color grading applied. So if I press Ctrl Z, this is basically the raw clip. This is how I shoot my videos, to have this freedom of just to be able to color grade it to the right format and the right look. So right now, if I re-enable the color grading, this is what it looks like. It actually is like a couple LUT filters on top. So all these factors also play a role in how laggy your footage and how laggy your preview is. So the first thing that we're going to do to increase our smoothness in the preview is by right-clicking on our clip. But if you have an entire timeline and you have already made a lot of cuts, let's say I'm going to do it for example like this, you have cutted your intro and everything is a lot. You're not going to go and like right-click and hit properties on every single clip. What I would do is I would just go ahead and press D on your keyboard until you have this icon right here, because if you switch back, if you keep pressing the D key on your keyboard, right here we can switch back between these tools. So if you have this rectangle tool, you can actually select all the clips in your video timeline. Make sure you don't have the audio included, and then we're going to right click, and then right here we have switches, and then we're going to uncheck the maintain aspect ratio, and we're going to go back for a second, and we're going to go back to switches, and we're going to hit the disable resample as well. So if I now go and click on each individual clip, like properties, how you usually would do it, right now the maintain aspect ratio is unchecked, the disable resample, and that counts for all the different clips that we have in our timeline. And you can just do that if you have multiple clips on different tracks. Just go and do it like this. Just go and press this icon, and then you just want to move your cursor upwards to select all the tracks, and then right click and hit the switches. So now that we have done that, that's actually going to improve it a lot, because then of course it's not going to also force Vegas to blend frames together when you have the resample unchecked like this. But of course it is still a little bit on the laggy side, so what we're going to do is this just for the editing. We're not going to export this out in the format that I'm going to set it to. So we're going to go to the project video properties. And as you notice right here, my preview is also set to 50 FPS. That's not necessary to edit, you know. Of course, I want to render it out in the full quality, the best quality possible. But if it's just for editing and previewing a video, like 720p is like 30p is fair enough. You know, we don't need to place this on 1080p, like 50 FPS just for previewing, because we will just export this out later on when we're finished editing to, you know, render this out in the full quality. So let's go and place this one to HDV 720p, 24 frames. Just like this, and then we're gonna hit apply and we're gonna hit OK. And now our actual preview, as you can see at the bottom, it is downscaled to 1280 by 720, 24 frames per second, meaning that if we play it back right now, it's a lot smoother, because of course if you're gonna play your video in 50 frames per second, that's actually gonna, you know, require a lot of power, and that's gonna make it laggy as well. So if you just downscale it just for the editing, that's also possible, just to make sure that your preview runs a lot smoother. And the last step I would recommend you guys is just to go at the very top right here, and I would just place the draft on half, and then it becomes a really pixelated. But then if you place the preview also to half, it's going to match it. It's going to be a little bit more blurry, but guys, that's only going to be your preview. It's not going to look like this when you're going to export it. So if I play it back, as you can see, it looks a lot smoother, and we have a really nice fixed preview lag in Vegas Pro 19. So once you have finished editing, everything is looking smoothly, what you're going to do is you're going to place the quality back to how you filmed it to make it ready for export. So we're going to place the full quality right here on the preview screen. As you can see, this is what it looks like if I place everything on full. Then we're going to go back to the project video properties, and we're going to choose our 50 FPS template again, hit apply, hit OK. At the bottom we will see our project, and then if we select everything in our timeline, then we're going to hit render at the very top left to hit render as right here. If you pick our preset right here, as you can see, we have the 50 FPS GH5 YouTube preset with this equal sign, meaning that the quality of the video will be the fullest, of course, how we shot it, and that's how you won't lose any quality if you just want to make the preview in Vegas Pro a little bit less of a quality, just to be able to edit a lot smoother. And this is basically how to fix your preview lag, or at least improve it in Vegas Pro 19. Alright guys, so that's for this video. This is how you fix or at least optimize your preview lag in Vegas Pro. It depends on the system you have. If you have like a video that's shot in 4K, but you're running on a laptop that's like an i3 or an i5 with a lot of softwares open, or if the specs aren't too great, that's of course something that also plays a huge role as well, how powerful your computer is. And of course you can just tweak these settings. You don't have to copy the exact same ones that I have, because of course my computer is different than what you guys have as a system, but just to tweak around with the settings that I showed you guys until it works the best for you. So that's it guys, and I'll see you guys in the next video.